गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
There are many facets of our life. If all of them are taken care, we will be able to attain the highest bliss in this very life. And where do we go wrong? What is that which doesn't allow the inherent bliss in us to manifest? What is that because of which the divine bliss is clouded? Which are those clouds? Where from those clouds come? How the clouds born in the sky are able to cover the sky? So once we take cognizance of all these factors, slowly we will be able to check those points which are required to be rectified. For example, if a person knows how to drive a car and he is driving a car and the car stops, and if he has the knowledge what is below the bonnet, so he can open the bonnet, and if he is an Indian, take a stone and hit various points. This is called in India as Jugaad technology. You know Jugaad technology? No? You are from Bombay, therefore you do not know. In our Delhi, this is a typical technology. I tell you about it. There was an American who came to India and he got into a taxi, and when he was going, the taxi stopped, failed. So Americans have no patience. What's going to happen now? He said, wait a minute, don't worry. In India, we don't worry. He coolly got out, opened the bonnet, took a stone which was left for him by somebody. They are generous. Understanding is great. Suppose we have to put a support to the wheel, we use the stone and leave it there and go. Somebody can use it. No selfishness. So, he has taken one of those stones and started hitting the points here and there, and it started. So, American surprised, without going to garage, how can the car start? He said, hey, what did you do? He said, don't worry, this is Jugaad. In India, we manage the thing with Jugaad. You know, those who are from Gujarat, they know there is one vehicle called a Jugaad. It's a very unique kind of thing. It is a chassis produced by a company which is not recognized by the transport department. And yet it moves on without registration. Without registration and without hesitation. Goes anywhere. So, American was surprised. What is this Jugaad? Don't worry. He landed and then went to some building. He has to go by a lift. Again, halfway again, a lift stopped. Now what's going to happen? Liftman said, don't worry. He did something, start. What did he do? Jugaad. Jugaad se sab chalta hai. We can do anything by Jugaad. Everywhere Jugaad. Immediately he phoned Bill Gates. Sir, there is one Jugaad technology in India which can set right anything. So immediately Bill Gates contacts Atalji, Prime Minister. Sir, there is something called as Jugaad technology in India which can set right everything. We want to buy all the world rights right away. Patent is ours. So, Atalji says, I am sorry, we cannot give that. Why? Because of the Jugaad technology, my government is stable. See? So, we have to learn this Jugaad technology. And once you have this Jugaad technology, life is a fun, life is joy, life is hilarious. Life is not a burden to live with. It's a fun to play. And for that, we must know how to open the bonnet and see various points. When your heart breaks, take the quick fix, jugaad karke chalte raho. Don't stop. So, it is very essential that we know all aspects of our life, all aspects about the world where we have to live our life, all aspects of the rules and regulations, the laws which are governing our existence, and we have also to know how to play the game of life. If we know how to play the game of life, life is great joy. There is no tiredness. You must have seen the children when they play, they are never tired. But when these various people who are playing the international matches, how much tired and sweating and frustrated and angry and want to prove something this way, that way? Because they are not playing. They are struggling to win. Life is neither a victory nor a defeat. It's a game to be played for the sake of play. Those who have enjoyed playing the game of life, they have gone beyond the success and failure in life. The day you stop struggling for success, you have conquered success. And how to do this is the science. And when you apply this science in your life, you have the art of applying the science in your life. Therefore, this scientific art of living has to be learned and lived. Now the question is, just now we were told, this is being addressed particularly for the youth. So why not for the old? There must be some reason. I don't know what was the reason in Natubhai's mind, but what I can think is this. He must be thinking, now old people are going to bat maybe another few runs, 5 runs, 10 runs, or maybe they are in that fall of wicket order, the 9th batsman, the 4th bat, because they have never been batting, they are only bowling. Isko dart, usko dart. Bowling means bolna, constantly firing everybody. So elders have been only bowling throughout their life, therefore they don't know how to bat, because they were batting the youngsters. So, therefore it is mainly addressed for the young. This could be one of the thing in his mind. So let us analyze this. See, the first basic principle, if you really want to lead a fulfilled life, is our life does not end with the death of this body. First principle of life. We don't end here. The moment you understand and accept this principle, your horizon of understanding has widened beyond the 2 points of birth and death. And then the perception is clear, the understanding is perfect. So, taking this point, so elderly people are also going to be benefited if they understand this principle of life. It is not only for the youngsters. Why elderly people are going to die and young people are going to live or what? Nobody is going to die. Unless you are from Australia. The other day one fellow came from Australia. I asked him, hey, when did you come? To die. I said, I am not asking the purpose. I am asking, when did you come? Swamiji, to die. So there, today, they pronounce as to die. So, the time is converted into purpose. So, elderly people are also going to live their next life. In the 6th chapter of Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, wherever we have left our evolution, from there we begin the next life. Therefore, it is equally essential for the elders that they must prepare for their next life. They must prepare for their next life. And if we have to prepare for the next life, what will you prepare? Makeup? All the, what? One day, I was in, Jodhpur, International Gita Conference, recently. So after talking, one person, Swamiji, you have been telling so many good things to us. Can you tell how should we know that whether we have become old or we are still young? I said, okay, I'll ask you a question. Tell me which color of hair you like. He said black. I said, you are old. Old people like the black color of hair. And therefore they cover their white with a tarpaulin or a tar on their head. So we are old, never mind. But we have to prepare now for the next life. So the makeup of the body is not a preparation to begin the next life. And therefore, if we know this art, it will be too early for the next life. It is not too late for this life. Take it positively. And second thing, why this is so much essential for the youngsters? Because youngsters have a long life to live. And those who have not learned to live, they die every moment. I was a child. I was dying to go to school. I went to school. I was dying to go to high school. I went to high school. I was dying to go to college. I am not a Gujarati, therefore college. Or else I would have gone to college. Then, when I went to college, I was dying to get a job. So that I can really enjoy and earn. When I got a job, I was dying to get married. And I got married. And then I was dying to get the children. And I got the children. And then I was dying to see them grow beautifully. And they grew beautifully. And then I was dying to get them married and settled. They got married and settled. And one day, I was dying to retire from all these worries of life. Enough is enough. And I retired from the hectic course of my life. And when I retired, I came to know, hey, I never lived in my life. Right from childhood till the retirement age, I was only dying. Friends, life is for living. It is not for dying. And if we really want to live life, we have to know. When something happens perfectly out of ignorance, it doesn't last long. When something happens with knowledge, then alone it lasts long. Otherwise, the Murphy's law functions. You know Murphy's law? Murphy's law is, If something can go wrong, it will. So, I remember once in Hyderabad, I was with few kids, about half a dozen of them. We went to see the various kinds of games and those big giant wheels. So we are moving all the rides. And after that, one child had pity on me. Swamiji, we'll go to one place according to your choice. You are running with us here and there. Now your choice. I said, okay. Let us go to mirror house. There was only one. Nearest was mirror house. Start running here and there. Now when we went to mirror house, Swamiji, what is there to see? I said, I don't know. Let's get in one by one. So we got in. The moment we got in, the first mirror showed us as a tapeworm. And then, hey, Swamiji, look how you look funny. I said, I don't look, I am. Then from there, we went to the next mirror. The next mirror, it was like a pumpkin, a round. And every mirror had its own funny method of reflection. And a dozen of mirrors we have gone through, very all funny faces. We came out. And after we came out, said, hey, how did you enjoy? The Swamiji, we never knew, we have never come to this thing. But this is the best thing that we have found out. See? Simply to have the same mirror before the sink with a stink. Get up in the morning, look into the same mirror. How many days and nights and years we have been looking? क्या फर्क पड़ा? Only after looking, यहाँ से सफेद आया, वहाँ से सफेद आया, यहाँ से सफेद आया. So first of all, start removing the white hair. There was one girl. She was removing the white hair of her mama. Every time she will come, beta, so beta will come with a chimti, the fork. And mama will sit down and she will sit. Mama, I got one. Very good. Remove. Not continued. One day she got tired. Mama, I'll remove no black hair. Maximum white. And few are only black. How long we are going to have this kind of thing in life? Is there something higher or not? And if we really want to have the fulfillment of our existence, we must know the rules and regulations. So after this was over, then one child said, Swamiji, do you know shooting? I said, yes, I know shooting. We went to another booth. And there are those balloons are kept, you are given a gun and you have to shoot. Heck. So I started. That yellow balloon, I took and it burst. Correct hit. Then second one red, third green, and it went on hitting. So those boys told that shopkeeper, Dekha hamara Swamiji. He said, we'll appreciate your Swami if he can really hit this thing. There was one string hanging with something and moving. He said, he has to hit that moving string. I said, what will you give me? 100 rupees. I said, give it to that child first. He did a mistake that if I lose, I have to give you, forgot about it. So anyway, I am never a loser. Either I get his money or I don't get his money. So I am always the same. So he gave the money and as a start. And Hamavasya Ramachandra ki jai. And lo, it got hit. And 100 rupees we got. And thereafter we went and had nice ice cream. Then another one, Swamiji, let's go once more. I said, look here, it was a fluke. I don't know anything. I don't know how it happened. As much you are surprised, more than that I am surprised how it happened. So anything that happens in our life as a result of ignorance does not have a standing. If you want to have firm footing of joy and happiness in your life, it cannot be a fluke of a Coca-Cola party. It cannot stand. In that, we depend on the world outside. Therefore, the inner foundation has to be firm if you want to be flawlessly happy and absolutely blissful in this world. And for that, we have to learn and understand. You know what happens normally? We appreciate if we have to drive a car, we have to learn. That we understand. Without learning, how can you drive the car? If you have to make a chapati, the simplest thing in the world, Swamiji, do you know what happened? What happened? When I started for the first time, it became Japan. So the first chapati size and shape was Japan. And then with great difficulty it became Indonesia, it became Jakarta, and then it became Rangoon, and it became Singapore, and slowly we landed in Australia. But never the globe till date. So if we have to simply make a round chapati out of the dough, we require training, we have to learn. In the same manner, because we have thoughts in our mind, that doesn't mean we are thinkers. Presence of thoughts is not the quality of a thinker. Very important thing. Like, take an example. If a person has got lot of money, but he doesn't give to anybody, absolute kanjoos, makhi choose. Now this kanjoos, makhi choose, there is no equivalent in English. You know how this word makhi choose was coined? There was a terribly miser person and he had to take milk. So Bahu has given milk. And when he is taking the milk, one makhi, one musca domestica came and committed suicide bomber. Naturally, that hot milk, when that makhi falls, she is not going to live. And she was knowing that I had to commit suicide. When it happened, now this fellow, no, I can't throw such a big glass of milk. So he took out that makhi, and then there may be some milk sticking around, so he squeezed and then took it. It's called as makhi juice. So such a miser person, although he has got all the wealth, he is not called as a wealthy person, isn't it? To have wealth is not the criteria of being addressed as a wealthy person. Who is a wealthy person? He who has wealth. And he who shares that wealth with the society, with those who do not have, such a person is called as wealthy person. In the same manner, because we have thoughts in our head, that doesn't mean we are thinkers. In Upanishad, this thought comes very beautifully. He who does not encash the opportunity of the human birth to attain highest bliss is the miser of the highest order. Because you got the best opportunity in the scheme of creation. Now, to understand this point, we, in this useless world, we have to take example of this, then we can understand that. So, one Bihari, he got an appointment to meet President of America. Because he wanted to beat around the bush. So he got appointment. And 3 minutes. Not much time. So he went there, got appointment. And then, no, he can give him anything, what he wants. So he went, Anji, because there is nothing known what to ask. Never prepared himself. तो आऊं कैसे ठीक ठाक है, यहाँ पानी भी नहीं मिलता है कि नहीं? पानवा, बिहार में पानवा है, पानवा मिलता है कि तंबाकुआ, चुनवा, And then he suddenly remembered, Arey, I have got the tobacco, but I don't have the tuna. Click. Click is there without this tuna line. So within this 3 minutes, ultimately when his time was flying away, he asked the president, do you have tuna? So you got the best opportunity to get something worthy in this world, and what you ask? Tuna? See? So we have got the best opportunity in this life. And if this best opportunity is not utilized by us, the Upanishad tells us, we are the fools of the highest order. Therefore, friends, to have the opportunity and not to utilize is the worst kind of crime that we inflict against ourselves. And therefore, it is very, very essential for all of us to understand that whatever has to be attained in nature's evolution, we have attained at the level of the human form. The plants eat from below and they grow above. In nature, this is seen by everybody. Animals eat from the front and they grow backwards. So little more evolved than the plants or the animals. Human beings are more evolved than animals. And therefore they eat from above and grow below. So if you take this circle of logic stick, so from eat below and grow above, eat front and grow backward, eat above and grow below. What is the next in the sequence? Eat from backward and grow over. This is the only possibility at the human form level. Therefore, if there is something to be achieved in the human form, it is not only these small little perks here and there. There is something higher in life. And friends, higher the vision you have in your life, better is the mission of your existence. The mission of our life is determined by the vision that we honor in life. If the vision of our life is only eat, sleep, be utterly selfish, and procreate and perish, if this alone we have to do, we don't have to be human beings. These four things, eating, sleeping, security and procreation, is possible in any form. For that, being human being is not required. And therefore, we have to first of all in our life assess, evaluate and determine something higher as the goal of our life. When our goal of life is like all the millions, we will be also crushed along with them in this world. But the great people are not born 12 to a dozen. One rare person. Now take the example of our country. Out of that one Mohandas Karamchand, what has made him into a Mahatma? He did not go to a university to get the degree of Mahatma. Like he is hereby awarded Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Shri. Usko kyun Padma Bhushan diya? Mujhe kyun nahi diya? He was awarded that position by the whole nation. What was that? Only one thing. The goal that he has chosen was the topmost goal. Now what is all we are seeking? Is this freedom. The other day, I was going by train, I think between Bombay and Delhi. And in this 2-tier AC compartment, I had a berth. So I went, settled myself, and the train started moving. So these waiters come. So the waiter came. So I started talking, Mahatmaji, how are you? How is life? You look to be very sweet, all content, because I want to have a cup of tea. So, Mahatmaji, what do you want? I said, I want a cup of tea. My prescription is I want without milk, with sugar and very light. All right. He went and got one. After he gave, I said, hey, how much I have to pay? No, Mahatmaji, don't pay anything. This is from my side. At least some opportunity I get to serve you. I said, very good. Get again another after 2 hours. When you get free, why worry? He says, Swamiji, you ask any number time I'll get. Very good. I said, God will bless you. Because it doesn't cost me anything. So, when I was just talking and having my tea, there was one elderly man with the khadi, starched iron khadi with all the standard typical uniform of the patriotic personality. Officially patriotic. Unofficially, I don't know. Officially patriotic. Like there was one movie long time back we have seen, and in that movie the actor was I.S. Johar. And in that he makes this dialogue. Suppose he is a police and somebody goes and gives him Panduranga kab tak khade rahoge dhoop mein, have a bidi. No. While on duty we don't smoke. That means afterwards we. The other fellow comes, goes the wrong way, and therefore he bribes him 10 rupees. No, we don't take bribe on duty. How subtle message is it? So, when we are in our life moving with the clear understanding, enough is enough in this world. There has to be something higher. So what is something higher? Freedom. All of us are struggling for freedom. But are we getting the freedom? So when I was talking to the freedom fighter, he said, you people are lucky. You don't have to do anything. You get everything. I said, nobody stopped you from becoming Babaji. Only change the clothes. Be a hypocrite. Yet you will get a cup of tea. Because Mera Bharat Mahan. This is the greatness of our country. So, he said, no, I don't want to. It's very good. And then I had to ask out of courtesy, Babuji, what do you do? The moment I asked, I was a freedom fighter. Now I should have kept quiet, but sometimes, it is good to wind somebody, chabi de karke, and then watch. It's a great joy, You must have seen one toy which I like the most of all the toys. The chimpanzee has the symbols in the hand, and you give a very nice tight chabi winding and leave it. And you enjoy that, isn't it? Similarly, I thought, why not wind freedom fighter and see? And I get it. I said, Mahatmaji, you tell me, you are fighting for freedom and still you are fighting. When are you going to stop fighting? No, we are not fighting. I said, yes, you are fighting. There was news I read in the paper those days that these freedom fighters are having association and they want to get more, the money for that because they have done something for the nation. Those who have fought for the nation, they don't bargain their patriotism, isn't it? And then, second thing, did you get the freedom? Freedom from whom? You got freedom from one and the bondage from other. So are we really free in our country? And then I asked him ultimately, I said, look here, the real freedom is freedom from the limitations of sorrows in life. Dukkha nivritti is the real freedom. And if we suffer with all the comforts around, we are like the overdeveloped countries. In the overdeveloped countries, they have got all the luxuries and they suffer luxuriously. They have got all the perfections and they suffer perfectly. In the suffering also, there is no imperfection. Therefore, if we talk about freedom, do we really have? Recently, somebody gave me one printout of Dr. Abdul Kalam, the great Indian scientist and great patriotic person. I haven't come across anybody of his stature in last more than 30-40 years. Such a great Mahatma is. In that article he writes, very beautifully, when are we going to be proud of our culture, our country, our achievement? Why we call ourselves as underdeveloped country? It is we who are labeling ourselves. If you see throughout the world, whether it is a software or a hardware or nowhere, everywhere Indians are doing wonderful, and yet we consider ourselves to be the underdeveloped country. So this kind of inferiority complex is the bondage that we all are suffering from. The day you become proud of being yourself, you have attained highest in your life. Once I was in, where it was? Nepal. Long time back. I think in early or late 80s, something like that. And I was staying in some Nepalese house, very nice people. And they had one daughter. Now that daughter got married also. So that time she was in class 7 or 8 like that. So I said, hey, come on, sit. Kindly tell me about your Nepali culture and tradition. This much I know that Nepalis are Hindus, but beyond that I do not know. Tell me, sir. The first statement that girl made, she said, I hate being labeled as a Nepali. First, imagine. I said, look here, beta. What you are doing is digging a grave for you to live lifelong. You will never live. You will be living death. Because wherever you will go in the world, your features, your color of the skin, your Mongolian eyes will label you that you are a Nepali, and when you are not proud of being what you are, throughout your life, you will suffer, and that suffering is called as the bondage. Nobody is responsible for that except yourself. Very important. And therefore, it is so necessary for all of us. We talk about freedom, but do we really have? And what that freedom means? Is it the freedom from the government? Is it a freedom from the income tax officer? Is it a freedom from the police? Is it a freedom from the wife and the children and the husband? No. It is freedom from the sense of being a small, little, miserable being. We have to discover freedom from that. The day you discover your essential nature, what you are, thereafter you move in this world like a lion moves in the jungles without any fear. Fearless existence alone is the real freedom that a human being can think of. America was talking about this fearless movement before 11 September. Now why they are so much frustrated? Because the complex of fear has entered the psyche. A person with fear can never experience joy. There was a very erudite scholar. He happened to talk to Janak Maharaj, one of the greatest Videha, liberated while living, a great king. So, he said, sir, you are a king, therefore you have to have everything. Kings are always right, like ministers are always right. So you are always right. However, I want to know, how come everybody calls you a saint and Jivan Mukta? What is the secret? He said, let's think about it later. Now you have come, I am a grihastha, so I want to offer you food. So, table was arranged and he has to go and sit there. So, the lower sitting table type of thing, a small chowki for the thali and an asan for him to sit, washed his hands and went and sat there. The moment he was going to sit there, the king told, Panditji, be careful. There is, that sword hanging above your head. So go bend and sit there. He went and sat there. And then please take the food. You want more of sweets, you want this, you want that. He who has the sword hanging on the head by the hair of the horse tail. After that he has finished, take the rasgulla, put it with the chutney and put it in the sambar and eat. After all that was done, he got up and washed his hands. And then the great king asked, how did you like food? What food? Who ate? Because the mind was so much preoccupied with the fear. A person carrying the load of fear can never enjoy life. The other day, I was in US, North Carolina, and in one temple my lectures were there. After lecture, one retired medical practitioner, A.K. Namaskar Chamatkar, so frustrated face that our watchman here of Prempuri Ashram is more cheerful and fulfilling. So he was totally emaciated. He was living death. So, Swamiji, I want to talk to you something. I said, I don't want to listen to you. I'm feeling bad. He said, Swamiji, no, very urgent, very urgent. I said, okay, start. Then he showed his one terrible daughter. Swamiji, this is my daughter. As if it is a load he is talking about. The one got married to an American in this very temple. I don't know what she is going to do. And I am fed up of life. What I should do? I should commit suicide. How you can tell so coolly? I said, because you have to commit. I don't have to commit. If I had to commit, then I will be warm. I don't know what I should do. I said, you are so fed up. Why don't you come back to India and lead cheerfully? Let them live their life. You want to stay in America but live an Indian style life. Impossible. And what are you afraid of? Why are you not happy? You have got everything in life. He says, Swamiji, I am afraid what is going to happen to these kids. They don't understand anything. They go on changing partners after every 1 or 2 years. The elder one has already married 3-4 times. Now she wants to compete with the others. What I should do? I said, who stopped you? Everything is around, but there is an element of fear. Any kind of fear that we carry on our mind prohibits us the experience of joy. Therefore, when we talk about freedom from fear. And the freedom from fear can go under only one condition, where you are able to accept everything as it is. Then you have no fear. The moment you want the things to happen according to your dictum and it will never happen, you are bound to suffer the fear. Now as parents, we have already decided what our children should be. But they don't want that. They have their own way. And when they go their own way, we start becoming so restless. I don't know. They don't understand. There was one doctor in one of the places in Madhya Pradesh. She was doctor. And very big hospital and all that. 2 sons. Now she wanted her children to become doctor and look after the property and everything. The children have seen the miserable life of the parents. So they have decided, we will drive a rickshaw but we will never become doctor. Now on this one issue, these parents throughout life, miserable percentages. Swamiji is only one fear. What will happen to our all these things? See, the moment you start expecting things, want the things to happen your way, it will not happen. You are constantly living under the fear psychosis. Those who live under fear psychosis, they can never enjoy their any moment of life. Therefore, friends, all of us are seeking freedom. But the question is, do we have even the taste of freedom? And one very terrible thing that happens in the life of any successful man. I consider you all as successful in your own life. You are not dropouts. You are successful in earning money. You are successful in getting married, because I was not successful. You are successful in getting married. Then you are successful in creating problems. Completely successful. So to such successful people I talk. Now one of the biggest problem of any successful person is that he is not able to digest the intoxication of success perpetually in life. It is possible at times that we may be able to control our balance if we fail sometime here and there. There was one girl who failed in her college, and I don't know why, straight away she came to me. Swamiji, I have come to you, I don't know why. I said, I know why. Why? To disturb me. What else? No, Sai, we know you don't get disturbed. I said, all right, then I'll disturb you. I think somebody you are going to disturb me. Then I said, hello, kya? And immediately, Ganga, Swamiji, I know, you know everything. I didn't know that it was the result day. Poor girl started crying. Swamiji, you are right. I failed. Now what I should do? I said, Sham tak yahan baith ke raho. Kahin mat ja. Stay. And then my food comes, you take food. Listen to music. And don't go anywhere. I gave her some work. I said, you take out the books, put the brown cover to that and fix it back. It is such a work which keeps you boringly busy. So after about 3-4 hours, I said, why don't you ring your home? Swamiji, I don't want to ring. My father will beat me. I said, no, he will not beat you. Why? I said, he doesn't expect that you will pass. So don't worry, he will not beat you. Swamiji, really? I said, really? No, I will not ring. Then I told, look here, you are going home. Don't do anything wrong. Go straight away home, take a taxi. I gave her money. No, I will go by train. I said, no, you are going to go by taxi. And after you reach home, you tell me, phone. And somehow she came out of that shock of failure. It is possible. But once you start getting perpetual success in your life, in whatever way, the right way or the wrong way, we start getting intoxicated by that success and be very attentive. Then we start taking things for granted. Take any political party. Take any political leader. When he was growing in his career, he was a different person. And the moment he starts getting success every now and then, the arrogance that comes up. And then he starts taking things for granted. The moment you start taking things for granted in life, you have committed the highest mistake of your life. From there, your fall begins. Therefore, success has to be digested with a balanced mind. Now, we can have success in two ways in our life. One is by progressing, and other is not allowing others to progress. The second is the Indian method. Do you remember I told you once about the crab exhibition? There was a school and all zoological live specimens were kept. Some snakes and the frogs and the crabs and all that, labels, and children standing there and explaining. This is the Korean crab and this is the Japanese crab and this is the Malaysian crab, and like that every crab jar properly covered, labeled. And our Indian crabs in a jar without a cover, only labeled Indian crab. I said, hey, why don't you cover this? It will jump away. No, it will not jump away. Why? Indian. When one goes up, the other pulls down. So, there are two methods of attaining success in life. One, by producing wealth, creative. And second, by misappropriation. Whenever you attain success in the outer world by misappropriation, you want to employ the same technique even in your personal spiritual life. In the personal spiritual life, misappropriation is a wrong technique. But once we are accustomed to do everything in a wrong manner, it is very difficult for us to change our ways of thinking, our ways of doing the things. This is exactly the beginning of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now from here onward, we'll try to understand how the human mind functions. You all know the story, yet I'll tell you in short. The story of Pandavas and Kauravas. Brothers, belonging to the same family. So for all practical purposes, Pandavas were also Kauravas, belonging to the Kuru Vamsha. All of them belonging to the same family. Now, the first principle. If there is someone who is a real enemy for any one of us, our enemy can be tackled if he is other than our nears and dears. When our nears and dears are to be tackled, it becomes a real challenge in our life. If we have to simply, for example, go and attack the other country because they are disturbing us, it is not a big job. But those people who are very much residing in the midst of our own society, under the disguise of being ours and yet playing the role of the traitors, to deal with those people is a terrible, terrible challenge. Worse than that is the challenge that we all have to go through is, if you want to really progress in your life, you have to have the courage to face your nears and dears. Many a times, youngsters come and ask us. There was one boy who studied, and then the question of taking Diksha came. So when the time of taking Diksha came, I asked him, how are the things? So you are taking Diksha? No, Swamiji, actually, no. What happened? My mother is telling that don't take this Diksha. It is not good. I will feel very bad. So, Swamiji, I don't know what I should do. I said, you go to your mother and ask her, Mama, please give me your bangles. I want to put on. He said, why are you telling me like this thing? I said, tell me. Ask the question straight away. You don't have to prove anything. Did you smoke in your life? Yes, Swami. That time, did you ask your mother? Second thing. Did you drink anything? Swami, you are becoming too touchy. I said, no, I am becoming spiritual. Did you consume spirit any time? Yes, Swami, in the college, you can't avoid it. I said, that's why I didn't go to college. थर्ड थिंग, तुम वैष्णव कुल के हो, साउथ इंडियन ब्राह्मीण हो, नंबूदरी हो, मांस मछली खाई, स्वामी जी डोंट टेल एनीबडी. I said, don't tell me also, I understood everything. So when all these things that you did, or when you look at a girl and you wanted to have some talk and have some affair, that time did you go and ask your mother? No. But when taking Diksha and walking this path of renunciation comes, then you are bringing mother in between. Why don't you tell that you are a coward? Unless you have inner strength, you cannot achieve anything in life. Inner strength is not invoked when we have lived the life the wrong way. When we have lived the life जुगाड़ way. Wrong is जुगाड़. कहे की ईट कहे का रोड़ा, भानुमति ने कुनबा जोड़ा. There are two ways of achieving success. One way is, in college I am telling for youngsters, put efforts before examination and get good marks. Second, put effort after the examination and purchase good marks. Good marks you get. And similarly, if you want to have a job, you don't want to compete anywhere. All the time, reservation, concession, how long? Friends, if our country is going to dogs today, it is because of these things. See, we want anybody, Tom, Dick and Harry, not qualified to get into, let us say, a medical college. And we want to play with the lives of millions when these unqualified people get into the medical college and become doctors. Do you think they will help the government? Yes, they will help, reducing the population. And then again for the master's level, there was a verdict from the Supreme Court. Suppose you give reservations to these unqualified people. Now let the great ministers who have been fighting for reservations for the unqualified people go to these doctors for operation of their appendix. Try. They will not do that. Because whenever an unqualified person by a wrong means achieves success, he becomes a burden to himself and to the society. And by this what we are doing? We are destroying that poor person. Friends, if you want to really help a weakling, make him strong. Don't make him more weak. I'll give an example. This time I was in Delhi and I came across one man. He was listening me probably on TV and he came to meet me. And I was so surprised, charmed, shocked to see that man. He was 1.5 feet tall. A man of 35 years. Hands and legs are like maybe this thickness of my 2 fingers. He cannot walk. He has to be carried in the godi. Weight maybe maximum 10 kg or even less than that. Bright eyes and self-confidence. And then about him, he came and I said, Mahatma ji, aap kya karte ho? He said, Swamiji, I am fond of writing, so I write many stories. And he has published hundreds of them in different magazines throughout India. And somebody was asking me that, Swamiji, you are all Hindi Gita tapes, why don't you write in a book form? It is easier for us to read it. I said, you write. I don't have time to write. Now, writing out of the cassette into book is not a simple job. So I said, anyway, let us see if the Lord will do the job, you relax. Now this young man, short man came. And I was so happy to see him. Then I asked him, Mahatma ji, can you do this? He said, Swamiji, it is a great privilege for me. I will do it, but I tell you to be frank. I have never studied Gita, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagwan. Mujhe kuch malum nahi. I am just a worldly person. I said, you are the highly qualified person. Because then you will not interpret your Gita your own way. You just listen to the cassette and write what is required. And after all that was over, on the last day of my talk, I invited him on the stage, gave him a shawl, a coconut and some dakshina, and I told him, I said, now please address the gathering, huge gathering, hundreds. Such a small man sitting in a plastic chair in a corner, like that. He was sitting in a plastic chair, up to the height of the plastic he was covered. His head was not coming above the plastic back, chair back. You can imagine how small sitting there. When I put the shawl, it was covering him like a box. I gave him the mic and he started. He started in Hindi. I'll tell in Hindi, then English. He said, भगवान ने हमको मनुष्य जन्म दिया है कुछ करने के लिए. He started with such a confident voice, such a courage in his eyes, no sense of self-pity. Now he has no purpose to live. He cannot get married, he cannot have wealth, he cannot do anything, nothing. And yet, the joy in his heart. And he said, I have learned so much from Swamiji that I have decided to do something for him. He who cannot walk has decided to do something for the Swamiji. Imagine. And then he said, whatever Swamiji will tell, I will do for him. So when I told this thing, he said, Swamiji, I will do it. And then he said, but on one condition. What is that condition? These cassettes I will buy. Don't give me them free. I have not taken anything free from anybody in this world. I earn and then I eat. A dwarf for you and me, what the Lord has not given us. And yet we want to live in a misappropriate manner. Think. Let us understand this basic principle of life. Rather than living on the mercy of others, it is better to die a dignified death. Unless that self-confidence is invoked, our life is a burden not only on ourselves but on everybody. Friends, this great revolution is brought out by our Dada, Pandurang Shastri Atavale Maharaj. All those people who are following him, he has brought out this self-respect called as Asmita among all those people and people from all the walks of life, whether they are the fishermen or whether they are the supermen. Everybody was invoked and involved in that great movement of existing with self-respect and self-esteem. Could you imagine when somebody is giving you concession and some kind of friendship, a person has to have the guts to reject it. Then only we lead a real meaningful life. Otherwise, our tradition. Father has earned so much that it is a big problem for the son to spend. And therefore, to help that father, the son goes on spending to the clubs and drinks and all kinds of things. What poor child can do. Father has earned so much. Now, what else can he do? He has to do that. And you will see in any such particular thing, the wealth which is created in a wrong manner, the wealth which is misappropriated, does not last more than 3 generations. Therefore, friends, we all have to understand. Let us have the freedom. And the freedom is from this worldly dependence. Freedom from fear. Freedom from living in a wrong manner. Freedom from living as a beggar in this world. And to have that, we have to know the technique. It will not happen as an accident. In the Lord's creation, nothing has happened accidentally. Now, if we have to live in that manner, where do we begin? So we begin with some kind of authentic document, which is authenticated, certified, appreciated by millions over the decades, over centuries. And that foundation of life, the art and the technique of living, is given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Don't look at Bhagavad Gita as a religious book only for Hindus, as physics is not only for the Britishers, as MBA is not only for the Americans. We can create more confusion in our country through MBA. I was in Ahmedabad. Somebody's house I went, one girl, I said, hey, what are you doing? Swamiji, I am doing MBA. I said, what is this MBA? This is only one institution. He said, no, Swamiji, we have got many MBA colleges. I said, then what job you get? Swamiji, after we finish MBA, we get a job as a salesperson on the counter in a shop. That is all. So, any science that we talk about does not belong to a people. It belongs to everybody. In the same manner, the science of life and the art of application of that science in that life is beautifully presented in a technically sound book called as Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now the problem is, whenever we have biasness in our mind, we are not able to open up ourselves fully. And anything that you do in your life, half-heartedly, you are bound to be unsuccessful, you are bound to be frustrated, and you can never enjoy your life. Basic principle, if you really want to study and grow wise, the first thing is, make yourself available wholly. Don't do anything in your life half-hearted. If you want to eat cheerfully whole. It's not eating something and then looking here and there, and then the phone in one hand, and then what is this kind of life? Can't we learn the simple thing? Apply yourself to any job that you do fully. That itself is meditation. And to attain this, to understand this, we will take up this technical manual of living life joyfully, and the manual is named as Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now the problem is, it is in Sanskrit. So, we find an excuse. That is in Sanskrit, how do I understand? You don't have to understand Sanskrit or any verse of Bhagavad Gita. Because knowledge is not limited by language. First principle. Otherwise, so many great saints have written their commentaries in Bhagavad Gita, on Bhagavad Gita, like Sant Gyaneshwar. He has written commentary in Marathi. Many Mahatmas have written in English. So, language is only a medium through which the knowledge is transferred. So don't get biased or influenced by why it is written in Sanskrit. It is something like this. There was a child and he was praying to the Lord evening, and his mother was listening what he prayed. God, why did you make me born so late? I should have been born 5,000 years before. Now this kind of funny prayer. So the mother asked, hey, what is this funny prayer you asked me? Okay, I should have been born 5,000 years before. Why? He says, so that I don't have to study the history for 5,000 years. I am tired of it. सिकंदर ने पोरस से की थी लड़ाई तो मैं क्या करूं? The other day somebody asked me, when I was in Delhi, I think, one person came and he asked, Swamiji, what is happening in Gujarat? What is happening here and there, Ram Janmabhoomi? What do you have to say? I said, you have said sufficiently, why add more? No, you have to say something. I said, will you listen to me? Yes. Get me a glass of water. That's it. See, we have to have clear understanding of our life, or else we get swayed away by the winds and the torments of all that is happening in life. Therefore, friends, unless we improve upon ourselves, unless we discover the freedom, we cannot grant freedom to others. A slave can never think of giving freedom to another person. Both are slaves. And freedom is possible to be attained in a systematic manner when we study this Bhagavad Gita. Now, in the scheme of study that we are going to follow is, we will develop topics. There may be, I don't know how many the Lord wants me to bring out. We will have every day one topic. And the topic will be developed on the foundation of the wisdom contained in this great epic or the book called as Bhagavad Gita. Now you don't have to struggle to understand Sanskrit. Your ignorance of Sanskrit is a bliss for me. But then I don't have to bother to explain in that language. We will try to understand the import. And once you start getting the knowledge and the gist and the understanding of the whole thing, you will come to know that this is so scientific as any science ever known to this world. But not only scientific, it is super scientific. What is the difference between the scientific and the super scientific knowledge? Scientific knowledge does not make you wise. Many erudite scholars, doctors, engineers, professors, philosophers, highly educated, and yet they fail in their life. Utter failure. The other day, I won't tell the name and place, I received a phone, not a phone, email, written by a doctor, wrote, and problem is, Swamiji, my daughter is appearing for 10th standard. How many children are appearing for 10th standard? Is it for the first time that one isolated child is appearing for 10th standard? And because of that, in our house, there is a tremendous tension. And the child is totally nervous, depressed. And because she is depressed, we have joined. And the whole family is depressed. So only morning time we listen your talk, little bit, we feel alright. But again she starts crying, what we should do? So imagine, we have acquired knowledge of psychiatrists. We have gathered all the wisdom for others. But when it comes to apply in our own life, we are a total failure. Therefore, science may be giving you knowledge and you may be able to be successful in the outer world. Infrastructure is not the ultimate of human existence. Science gives you infrastructure. Bhagavad Gita will give you, in addition to the infrastructure, the intrastructure. The balance between the infrastructure and intrastructure is the secret of freedom attainment in this very life. Friends, once we have decided that I have to make the best of my life, then alone we can really plan out. But otherwise, if we go on living, we are living because we don't have strength to die. The other day, yesterday, I was so exhausted, tired for last about 21 days. Every day, as if people have squeezed and dried me out. So when I came, so exhausted and tired, I was not able to sleep. See, when you are too exhausted, even you can't sleep. So in this manner, we get so much exhausted and tired in this world. And what is the use of that? So there has to be a perfect balance. The external prosperity without the compromise of inner peace is the ultimate definition of freedom. Otherwise, if we simply have excellent infrastructure. The other day, somebody's house I went, they are originally NRIs. And after living in the Middle East, Far East, Southeast, Southwest, come back to India. After coming back, then what these NRIs will do? Buy a huge mansion and bring 2-3 big containers of everything, right from the jhadu, because in India nothing is available. Everything from all those houses collected for last 30-40 years. And then their mansion is converted into a museum. And then they will call, Swamiji, please come. I went to see the museum. Everywhere, so many beautiful places. You can't move, because the moment you move, something you hit and fall down. Freedom to move without your hands open. Like cut, then only. Otherwise, something will fall, something will fall. And after that, tea, coffee and all that. Swamiji, I want to ask you a question. I said, I know that's the only reason you can do. Come on, what is that? Why India does not have infrastructure? I said, this question cannot be answered. Then what we should do? I said, you decide. What you want? Do you want infrastructure or infrastructure? You lived for 40 years with all the infrastructure around you. If the infrastructure, excellent cars, beautiful roads, wonderful houses, nice phones, how long will you be sitting in the car because the car is good? How long you will keep on driving because the roads are good? After you have driven the car and reached the destination, what next? Next, फिर वही अंधेरी रात है. Is this life? So only infrastructure importance is one part of the life. And that is not enough. We have to focus attention also on the infrastructure. So the balance has to be brought. So when we are able to attain this balance, then alone we are discover freedom from the outer world, no fear, and from the inner world, no frustration. The fear from the outer world creates the frustration in the inner world. Such people are leading every moment so fearfully, so fearfully. The other day, one person came and he was talking to me. Swamiji, please don't laugh at me. I said, no, I will not laugh. Tell, what is the problem? I don't know what happened. I am having tremendous fear. I don't know what happened. Suddenly I developed fear. Fear about what? That also I don't know. Now see, the moment the element of fear enters, our life becomes a total mess. Therefore, freedom from the outer world and absence of frustration in the inner world together constitutes perfect life in this world. And this is possible to be achieved and attained by every one of us. How to do this? What are the different aspects? How we go about? All these things are contained in this great, wonderful book of life called as Bhagavad Gita. Now, if we have to study anything, few important things. First, you have all come to listen to me. Those who are listening to me with respect and reverence, they are benefited. And those who are listening, let us see what is good. देखते तो है कितना पानी में. The moment there is lack of respect and reverence in your heart, it is you who is the loser, not me. Be very attentive. I always experience this particular thing from my childhood onwards. There used to be one Sanskrit teacher. I used to never like him. I don't know, Purva Janma, Paap, whatever it is, never like. And he used to hate me like anything. He will just be waiting for some excuse and punish me. And what is the punishment? Go towards the wall. So I will go towards the wall. And then go ahead. Now I can't go anymore. Okay, now lift your hands like this. Inverted, crucified. And stand like this for 35 minutes. Now do you think from such a teacher, I will learn anything? We can learn only under one condition. If we have respect for Bhagavad Gita, if we have reverence for the teacher, these two things together create a condition wherein we become receptive and not repulsive. Receptivity is the foundation of understanding, and readiness to change is the foundation of growing in life. So receptivity and the readiness to change, these are the two ingredients that are required for anybody to evolve in life. And if we do not want to evolve, if we do not want to change, we want the world to change, it will never happen. Therefore, friends, keeping all these points together, we'll start from tomorrow, topic by topic. So whatever topic comes, that you decide. And when we slowly grow, step by step, and I tell you the foundation will be Bhagavad Gita. Because I will not tell you anything which is beyond this. And you will see slowly we will have started building our IT counter. The whole IT will be developed in such a manner that we will have thereafter the freedom to take your cursor and don't curse the world. Only click the right point. You will be successful at any moment of. Friends, it is not imagination. It is lived by millions. It is demonstrated in the lives of all the saints. And if somebody has really done something great to this world, it is not the politicians, it is not the social workers, but it is the great saints and sages, because they had these two ingredients in them. Freedom from fear from the world and freedom of frustration from the mind. It is two things. Live your life dynamically, cheerfully, happily, and the success is yours. It is not impossible. Possible for everybody. Now tell me, this knowledge, is it required only for the youngsters? Is it that old people are no more afraid and old people are no more frustrated? On the contrary, old people are all the time afraid and perfectly frustrated. I don't know what sin I have done. Why my children are like that? Why my business is going like that? Constant frustration and constant fear. Therefore, friends, this knowledge is equally required for everybody who wants to change and improve upon himself. Change and improvement is right at any age in your life. Don't have this wrong notion. Are we too late? You are never late. You are at the right time. In the Lord's creation, nothing happens wrong. All that has happened, good or bad in your life, that alone has brought you today to this point. So don't think it has gone waste. And once you start thinking and looking at the whole life with this positive attitude, you have decided to change yourself. And the day you have decided to change yourself, you are your biggest friend. And the moment you decide not to change yourself, the world should change. You are your enemy number one. Now decide whether you want to be your friend or enemy. Rest we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।